2. All right, sounds like we're ready to go, folks. Welcome to the Plan Commission meeting for November 17, 2015. For those that have not had the honor of attending this type of meeting before, the way it works is after we do the roll call and approve the minutes, we go over item by item. First of all, the city staff presents on an item. Once they're done, we open it up just to the commission for technical questions. Once we're done with technical questions, we open it up to the public for commentary and questions. If you have something to say, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, please, so we have it for the minutes. And please try to keep your comments as germane to the topic as possible. Once everybody who has desired to speak has done so, we come back to the commission for discussion and a vote. Also, I would ask that people please silence their cell phones so they don't go off during the meeting. With that, let's call the roll.
David Borsak.
Present.
Ed Bowen.
Here.
Jeffrey Tones. Thomas Wojtek.
Here.
John Hintz. Steve Cummings.
Here.
Kathleen Kropp. Gary Gray.
Here.
Donna Laurie.
Aye.
Robert Weigert. Carl Nollenberger.
In attendance.
All right. Now let's move on to approval of the minutes from November 3rd. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions to these minutes?
So move. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, the motion clearly passes. Let's move on to item number 1, right-of-way dedication adjacent to 450 West 33rd Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome.
One second here.
Technology for you.
Little, oh, there you go.
So we're getting close.
I think I'm doing it over here, Jeff. I had problems with that one.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The city is requesting a partial cul-de-sac right-of-way dedication of a 1,354 square foot area located adjacent to 450 West 33rd Avenue. Up on the screen, I have a location of the proposed dedication. The proposed dedication is located on property currently owned by Gen 2 Holdings, the site of Lakeside Plastics Incorporated. Lakeside Plastics is currently undertaking an expansion project, and part of that project is to combine 3 parcels into one via CSM. During the review process, the Department of Public Works requested the dedication of a cul-de-sac bulb to mirror a similar dedication on the south side of West 33rd Avenue from CSM number 6813. Per the subdivision regulations of the zoning ordinance, dead-end streets are required to have a cul-de-sac dedicated to allow for easy turnarounds for large trucks, garbage, and snow removal equipment. The subject area is located within the Aviation Industrial Park and is Zone M3 General Industrial District. The proposed dedication will complete the cul-de-sac bulb near the eastern terminus of West 33rd Avenue. Although the bulb is not truly at the end of West 33rd Avenue, the dedication on the south side of the street was dedicated to accommodate the existing development on the south side a couple of years ago. The proposed dedication will mirror the south side dedication and will be a 55-foot radius bulb, which exceeds the minimum requirement of a 50-foot radius dedication to accommodate for larger truck traffic. Once dedicated, Steve, can you go back to the air photo, please? Okay. Once dedicated, a portion of Lakeside Plastics parking area will be located within the proposed right-of-way dedication. The Department of Public Works reviewed this and doesn't have any concerns with the proposed encroachment, but is requesting a condition that Gen 2 Holdings sign an encroachment agreement that will be prepared by the City Attorney's Office, which will allow continued use of the off-street parking area. And at the city's discretion, when West 33rd Avenue is reconstructed, that the city may require removal of the proposed parking area within the dedicated right-of-way area. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the right-of-way dedication of West 33rd Avenue as requested with one condition, and that is that the property owner of 450 West 33rd Avenue enters into an encroachment agreement for the existing off-street parking area located within the proposed dedication area.
All right, thank you. Technical questions from the commission. Gary?
Just I guess matter of clarification. I'm looking at the map on page 5, and it looks like it continues on for a distance. And is this a dead-end street?
It is a dead-end street.
Is there an easement for extension of this street eventually, or I'm just wondering why it looks like the street continues after the apparent end of the street.
You're correct. Possibly once upon a time, there was intentions of extending West 33rd Avenue further to the east. At this time, the land is in private ownership and is going to be combined. I don't have my...
Okay.
Lakeside Plastics currently owns 3 parcels. It's that what looks like the extension of the right-of-way heading towards the east. One parcel, which is on the east side of Lakeside Plastics, which encompasses a small portion of their existing building, and then the larger parcel just to the west of that. And they've submitted a CSM, which is going to combine all 3 parcels into one. At this time, the city has no plans for further expansion of West 33rd Avenue to the east. So,
Okay, just a quick explanation why I'm asking the question. It just seems like if there's a development, proposed development around this area, that if there is even a slight possibility of extending 33rd, that should be considered in the new development. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Any other
Steve?
technical questions? I'm sorry.
is there any plans on expanding West 33rd Avenue, or is there a need to?
With the development and the natural impediment over there, I believe there's a navigable stream just to the east of this site off as well, that I do not see that 33rd Avenue will be extended at any reasonable chance, really. That's why we're requesting the cul-de-sac bulb to basically terminate it.
You can always build a bridge over the creek.
With the cost of the bridge and the wetlands and everything else that goes with the dead end is probably more realistic here than trying to do the street.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other technical questions? Okay, seeing none, anyone here from the audience to speak to this item today? Come on up, sir.
Hi, I'm Mike Cuddle. I'm one of the owners of Gen 2 Holdings. Just say, if you were to extend the street, the other impediment you would hit would, I believe, be some houses on Oregon Street. And just to say that we do not have an issue signing the agreement with the city about vacating those parking stalls.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else here to speak to this item today? Seeing none, back to the commission.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bowen,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gray,
Aye.
Laurie,
Aye.
Mullenberger,
Aye.
Orsak,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right, moving on to items 2A and 2B. Can I assume we want to do these together?
Correct.
Okay. Item 2A, 2-lot land division, certified survey map located south of Ruffed Grouse Way. And item 2B, release of detention basin easement south of Ruffed Grouse Way.
Okay. We're trying to get the slide up on the screen. There we go. Okay, the applicant's requesting a two-lot land division from 4 existing parcels containing a total of 30.4291 acres. And the city is also requesting the release of a stormwater detention basin easement located on Lot 1 of the proposed certified survey map. There's 2 lots being proposed. Lot 1 located on the eastern 2/3 of the property, which is sized at approximately 21 acres, and Outlot 1 on the western or the southwestern portion of the subject site, which is sized just under 9 acres in size. The subject site is part of Hunter's Ridge development, which is a mix of multifamily apartment and condominium developments. The owner of the property is in the early planning stages to develop the area located on proposed Lot 1 of the survey map for residential development. The surrounding area includes multifamily and condominium developments to the north and vacant and undeveloped lands to the south and west, and commercial developments to the east. The petitioner is proposing to reconfigure the subject site into 2 parcels, 1 lot and 1 outlot from 4 parcels to correct an illegal land division which was created in 2006. The owner illegally divided 1 lot of CSM, I don't have the CSM number, I'm sorry, CSM 5774 into 4 parcels via warranty deed, whereas the Oshkosh zoning ordinance requires land divisions to be conducted through a certified survey map. Proposed Lot 1, which encompasses approximately 3/4 of the eastern portion of the subject site, is proposed to be approximately 21 acres in size. Large area, looking up on the screen, large area of the land is delineated by wetlands identified by Dable Engineering from August of 2014. Although much of the land is taken up by wetlands, there's still ample area remaining for residential development. As of today's date of the CSM submission, no formal plans have been submitted to the city as to what type of residential development is being planned for the site. Proposed Outlot 1, looking at the map up on the screen, is approximately 9 acres in size, and it's nearly 100% covered by delineated wetlands, and does contain a regional detention pond which serves the developments to the north. The city does maintain a stormwater detention easement. Can we go to the air photo, please, Steve? Okay. Yep, on the screen you can see the location of the regional stormwater detention basin and easement, which was dedicated as part of certified survey map number 5774. The outlot designation will make the proposed lot undevelopable per statutory regulations. Due to the redesignation of the portion of the parent parcel to outlot status, the city is requesting that the current developers agreement between the city and Hunters Ridge of Oshkosh LLC be amended to accommodate the creation of this new parcel. Therefore, staff's going to be requesting a condition that developers agreement be amended to reflect this change. And then going to the release of the easement. In January of 2005, the city accepted a temporary stormwater detention basin easement, which is shown. Can you go back to the air photo, please, Steve? It's the area highlighted in orange. It was a easement for a stormwater detention basin located on proposed lot 1. Since that time, the permanent stormwater detention basin was constructed on the proposed Outlot 1. Therefore, the proposed easement area is no longer needed, and the city is requesting release of that easement. And that's all I've got on that. So go to the conditions, please. Okay. So staff is recommending approval of the 2-lot land division certified survey map as proposed, with one condition that the city shall amend the current developers agreement to reflect the change of the current parcel status from where the existing detention basin is being converted to an outlot. And item B, staff is recommending approval of the release of the temporary stormwater detention basin easement as requested.
All right, thank you. Technical questions, David?
I'm unclear. In Outlot 1 is the new stormwater detention pond for this area, is that correct?
Correct. The pond has already been constructed. You can see.
Okay, and you can use wetlands as a detention pond? I didn't know you could do that.
Yes.
The area where the detention basin was constructed, I believe at the time, was not wetlands when they constructed it.
Okay, thank you.
Is that it, David?
That's it.
All right. Other technical questions? Yes, Steve?
Is the potential developer Midwest?
Correct.
Other technical questions? All right. Seeing none, anybody here from the public or the audience to speak to this item today? I see staff. All right, back to the commission.
Move approval for 2A and 2B concurrently?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
With conditions if there were.
Yes.
Bowen,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gray,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Nolenberger,
Aye.
Orsak,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Moving on to item 3B, plan development approval for the creation of a 2-unit condominium at the southern portion of the east side of the 600 block of Grove Street.
Click a few down. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you mentioned, there's 3 items in this request, and you'll see them when we get to that on the screen here. There we go, A, B, and C. I'm going to go through all of them, and then we can, you can make your motions and approvals.
For each one?
Each one separately, right.
Okay.
So the first one was the 2-lot land division, the plan development, and then the land disposition. You can kind of see they kind of go hand in hand.
Got it.
So if you want to advance, Jeff, there you go. So this area is the entire east side of Grove Street between East Parkway and Cleveland Avenue. And you can see it's in a hatch mark, which represents vacant land, which it is. So the land division encompasses the whole thing. The plan development is only going to encompass the blue area, and the land disposition is only going to encompass the blue area on the south side of that half block. So this, as I had said, is the entire east side of the block. It's about 1.25 acres. This was originally Mercy Hospital's generator and maintenance site. They had a structure there, and that's where those buildings were. Those had been demolished. More recently, in 2007, the city entered into a developer agreement with Parkside Place LLC. They were going to be coming in to construct 4 duplexes and 1 single-family home on that block. That never happened. The city acquired the property in 2015 from Winnebago County after the property was foreclosed upon for tax lien, I believe. So now we have it in our hands. And the first thing we're looking to do is divide it off. So the first item is request A, which is the 2-lot land division. As I had said, the whole parcel is 1.24 acres. I had said 2.5, but it's 2.4, and divided into 2 lots. So lot 1 is this, what's shaded in blue, or what's outlined in blue. That's about 0.33 acres, or 14,000 square feet. It is approximately 110 feet wide by 120 feet deep. Lot 2 would be the remainder of the block, which is about 340 feet long by 120 feet deep, obviously. What does this do? Oh, okay. There we go. So this is the remainder of the lot. That is approximately 0.91 acres. It's 40,000 square feet. So both lots are zoned R5 plan development, which is the multifamily zoning district, probably in place from the original duplex development that was going to go in 07. Additionally, there are sidewalk easements on both East Parkway and Cleveland on the north side. The sidewalks were built onto the private property rather than in the right-of-way, so easements were granted. They're about 7 feet for each lot. So as a condition of approval, we are recommending that the sidewalk easements located on both Cleveland and Parkway be dedicated as right-of-way on the CSM, which would be submitted after all these approvals go through for administrative review and approval. Otherwise, the lot configuration of 110 feet wide by 120 feet deep exceeds our zoning code requirements for a 2-family lot. Meets the frontage, the depth, and the area requirements. During staff review, it was noted because this is a larger redevelopment area that both lots 1 and 2 will be required to provide 40% reduction in total suspended solids as part of their meeting their stormwater requirements. So we are going to be recommending that as part of the CSM, that it be labeled on the CSM that you have to meet those requirements. So any future buyer, developer, whatnot, know that is on there. So again, this corner piece, the smaller piece, which is still 14,000 square feet, you can see it's quite large compared to some of the other lots around. is the subject of request B, which is the planned development. And if you could go forward, Jeff. All right, so this is kind of oriented a little different. This is Grove, this is north-south, Parkway, east-west. And this is development. It's a little bit hard to see. This box here is one unit. This is a second unit. These are their garages. This is their driveway leading out onto Parkway. So they have frontage on Parkway and on Grove. This is the north side, side yard, east side, rear yard. So what's being proposed is a 2-unit condominium. The first unit, which is unit, oh, go back, please. First unit, which is unit 1, is this one. It's a 1,200 square feet with a 600 square foot attached 1.5 stall garage. Is proposed to have 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and 1.5 stall garage, as I had mentioned. The second unit is on the south side. That's 1,400 square feet with a 700 square foot 2.5 stall attached garage. Unit 2 is proposed to have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and again the garage itself. One thing that's significant about these condominiums is they are built handicap accessible. So there's no stairs, there's no steep rises. They're all ground floor entry level. The whole site itself is about 54% green space, 46% impervious surface. Structure placement does not meet zoning code standards with the acceptance of the north property line, which is this one. They're going to need a base standard modification for the Grove Street front yard setback, which is set at 15.5 feet, and also for the Parkway setback. And these plans are different than the plans that you have in your packet. The developer had supplied, or the architect had supplied updated plans after the staff reports went out. So the Parkway Avenue setback actually has been increased to 24 feet from the 15.5 that was originally proposed. That was done intentionally. One, the lot was increased in width to provide some yard area for this 2-bedroom unit, and even more significantly increased on the south side to provide additional yard area for the 3-bedroom unit. Obviously, could be kids in a 2-bedroom unit, probably going to be kids in a 3-bedroom unit. So even though they're very close to Menominee Park, it provides them some yard area to play in. We also are in support of both these front yard setbacks, mainly because of what you see on Grove Street existing and what's on East Parkway. East Parkway has an average setback of about 12.5 feet for their homes. Grove Street, it's a little bit of a bigger variance. It's about 16.5 feet. They range anywhere from 9 feet setback to about 20-foot setback. So the 15.5 fit in very well with that. And it kind of gives that street presence, brings the building up to the street, which you see in these older areas. The rear yard, which is actually the east side, is down here. Your plans are going to show it with a 5-foot setback. That has been increased per our staff report to increase it to 7 feet, provide a little bit more green area, provide some area for buffering. If you can go back to that aerial photo, you'll notice right to the east is the parking lot for the apartment building. So that extra 7 feet will give some buffer area, and again, provide some vegetation, some fencing, which we are going to be recommending as a condition of approval, that landscaping or fencing be installed along that rear lot line. But they are going to need a base standard modification to that setback, which would typically be 25 feet down to 7. If you can go back to the plan again. Thank you. So here you go. One of the main reasons for that setback necessity, base standard modification necessity on this rear yard is the inclusion of this rear entry access into the garages. So here's your street sides. The garages are attached, which is very important for a handicap accessible building, and they have rear access entry. So the front of the street is going to look much more, and you'll see it with the elevations, much more like the rest of the block, who typically has detached garages in the rear yard. So you don't see the garage prominently in the front. You see the front of the house. And so you're going to have that same look here and the same look on the Parkway side. So they needed a little bit wider driveway. Your plans had showed it at 20 feet. We got them to reduce it to 18 to increase that setback. And then a little more paved area in the back to provide extra parking behind the garage. But also it's a dual purpose paved area. You can play basketball in the area, you can run around on a paved surface. It's dual purpose for parking, and you could also use it for recreation. There's a little bit of bump out here for people that are parked in these stalls to be able to back out and exit back out of the out of that driveway. So that shared access to us was very important. The rear entry garages was very important for aesthetics, for streetscape of the surrounding neighborhood. We are supporting that base standard of modification. Since they increased the size of the lot, you had a base standard modification to allow 63% of the rear yard to be impervious surface. Now with the increase in that lot area, that's dropped down to about 48%. So it's dropped down considerably. 30% is what's in our general code for impervious surface in a rear yard. Obviously, this unique situation with the rear yard entry to the 2 garage units makes that important. Also, this is a corner lot, so it makes it even more difficult to access those 2 areas. Let me see where I am now. Okay, stormwater detention, as I had mentioned, typically are not required for single or 2-family developments. This is because it's a larger redevelopment area that is going to be required, as I had mentioned before. That can be done primarily through rain gardens and bioswales. The architect and staff are very confident that it can easily be incorporated into attractive landscaping on the site, and actually something that's kind of would be nice for a sustainability aspect as well. It'll be attractive and also it'll serve a function as well. If you can go to the building elevation, Steve. So these didn't come out as well as they did on your submitted plans that are in your packets. However, they have changed a little bit based on some of our recommendations, but the structures themselves are single story. You'll notice on the front, this top elevation is the front elevation, so this is what's facing Grove. This is the Parkway elevation, this is the north side yard elevation, and this is the rear yard elevation, as you can see by the garage doors. So the front elevation itself, you'll notice there's porches on both of the units of the condo. Trying to break up the roof line using a lot of dormers. Also, you have the columns on the porches. Materials themselves are going to be textured architectural shingles, horizontal vinyl siding, vinyl shake siding in the gables, and casement windows. As I had said, the main entry doors both front on Grove Street facade. They do include porches. That was felt to be very important to be inclusive to the neighborhood and also be consistent with the neighborhood. When we looked at all of the facades itself, in your staff report, there were much smaller windows proposed on this north side, and you'll probably see them in your plans. We requested that they beef those up as a condition to match what you saw on the Parkway side. They had done that in these submitted plans. Another thing that we had recommended, this is the rear facade that's going to be facing the driveway and the fenced area. In order to try to make these 2 sides get a little bit more fenestration on them and a little more relief to some of the open spaces, we had recommended that these doors be switched over to the sides, which would end up being right here and right here. So your street side would now have another door on this side, and the north facade would have another side. The walks would just go around. They would go out to the side yard, and then they would go around to the driveway as well. We had just felt to try to play up these facades a little bit better and get a little bit more open area to move those. They enter the same part of the garage. They'd also allow people a place in the back of the garage where these doors are now to possibly store their garbage containers and their recycle bins that are not on the side. Can't obviously put them in front of the door. So that'll help also visually from the street sides. Okay, it's the proposed development plan. It was shared with members of the Menominee South Neighborhood Association, which is the neighborhood association in this area, to get feedback prior to moving forward with the development itself. The neighborhood association submitted a letter in support of the project itself. They do feel it'll continue to complete sort of the final infill phases surrounding Mercy Medical, the old Mercy Medical complex. They also stated that it is apparent that all the partners involved in the planning and design process for the site have taken time to incorporate architectural features that exist currently in the surrounding neighborhood and surrounding area, including the railed porches, window treatments, the multiple forms of exterior wall treatments and materials, the dormers, the rear loading garages were also mentioned in their letter. So the letter does state that they are very much in support, and they state that considerations such as landscaping, future green space, and right-of-way setbacks provide a cohesive feeling to the development that will not only complement the neighborhood but enhance the surroundings. So, and I think that letter was included in your packets. Okay. So that was the second item, is this plan development. And the third item is the land disposition. Obviously, once we divide it, once we get the plan development approved for just that corner, we would dispose of that. We have been working with Habitat for Humanity Oshkosh and also Oshkosh Winnebago County Housing Coalition to facilitate the development of the 2-unit condo. So that we just reviewed. So we would be disposing Lot 1 to them and allowing the development to take place, especially with the importance of the handicap accessible condo itself. So with that, request A is the 2-lot land division certified survey map. We are recommending approval of that land division with 2 conditions, that the final CSM note that 40% reduction in total, or TSS, be included on the CSM itself, and the sidewalk easement areas be actually dedicated as right-of-way on that CSM. I don't know, you want me to go through all 3 first?
What's the pleasure of the group? Want it?
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going.
Request B is the plan
It's like
development.
Vegas.
So we are recommending approval of the plan development. And some of these conditions can go away, but I'll go through them because they're in your packet. They weren't submitted, so we'll keep them this way. Reduce the driveway width to a minimum of 18 feet at the property line. That was done in the revised plan. Base standard modification to allow a front yard setback of 15.5 feet on Grove Street, and it would actually change to 24 feet on East Parkway Avenue. Base standard modification to allow a minimum rear yard setback of 7 feet. A base standard modification to allow 48% of the rear yard to be impervious rather than the 63. The landscape buffer or solid fence be installed along the rear property line to create a buffer from the adjacent parking lot to the east. That the garage access doors be relocated from the east facade, which is the rear facade, to the north and south, the front and the side, for the attached garages. And that the 2 horizontal windows located on the north facade be replaced with 3-pane windows similar to the ones located on East Parkway facade, which they had done. And then action C was a land disposition. We are recommending approval with the disposition of approximately 0.33 acres of land located at the northeast corner of Parkway and Grove. That's it.
And just before you get started on technical questions, what David covered, kind of what we're seeing, one of the most important facets of this project is what David kind of discussed in Action C. This is a collaboration between Habitat for Humanity and the Oshkosh Winnebago Housing Authority and the City of Oshkosh to put an accessible housing product in this area of the community. When you start to look at some of our housing demographics or the statistics, where 60% of our housing stock is approaching 50 years and older. This is a type of product that is not generally available in the market, especially in this area of the community. So we're really excited to be working on this collaboration. I know our partners at Habitat and the Housing Authority are excited to get going on this project. I know Habitat's in the process of looking to find families for the dwelling, so we're really excited to get this thing underway. And I just thought before you get into it, that I'd touch on that.
The other thing I wanted to mention too about the land division, you leave, when you cut off the 110 feet off of the south side of that block, you leave about 340 feet of frontage. And to give you an example, most of the houses in that area have 50-foot wide lots, standard back in the day when they were developed. That 340 feet could accommodate another 550s, and the other corner could be a 90, or, as another example, 4 60-foot wide lots with 100 at the corner, or some combination thereof. So that division was not just randomly chosen at that width. It allows the rest of the block to be divided further for further development. Now, whether those are collaboration developments or sold off or whatever, I don't know. But
I'll go first with technical questions. So a disposition, not to be stupid, but a disposition is kind of like, is it a donation or kind of an exchange of property agreement that
It would be a
it's just
sale.
an understanding, but it's a legal thing?
Yeah, I mean, we have to legally sell it.
Okay.
I think, Darlene, so is there a standard,
Price or?
I think there's, I
Form?
mean, typically, when we're dealing with affordable home projects, things like that, it's generally a dollar sale.
Yes, we're looking at donating the property, so to speak, but it's a technical term for disposing of the property to Habitat for the
Got it.
construction.
Oh, I know forever.
and it is important that it will go on the tax roll then.
Yes.
So it's not a tax.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
property. Yep.
Carl had his hand up first.
Yeah. Well, it's not a technical question. I just had a comment on the whatever you want to call it, the cooperation between the various agencies, I thought was dynamite, and it's really neat to see. And the letter that's in here from the neighborhood association is passionate and shows their level of interest in their neighborhood, and I just think that's perfect.
The letter writer knows this audience. Ed, did I see your hand?
Just I guess, real technical. So we're not actually approving, there hasn't been a CSM draft if we're not approving an actual CSM as part of it. We're approving the concept of what a CSM will look like.
Right, you're approving the concept of the CSM, the plan development's gonna approve the lot layout, so when a CSM comes in, it would be just an administrative approval.
Okay, so we're just approving the sort of the broad brushstrokes of what it is. It'll be approved
We'll
administratively.
look for the detail, yeah, all
Right.
the details will be on there
Okay.
administratively.
I'm just making sure I didn't miss a page in my packet or
Nope.
something. I'm like not seeing
We
something
didn't want
that
to,
I'm supposed to be looking
we
at.
didn't want the expense of creating the CSM if the rest.
Oh, you didn't want the
fell
expense
through.
of creating a CSM?
We do that with other plan
I get it.
developments.
I get it. No, I get
We're
it.
creating a
Make a note.
CSM. We are
Okay, I've got Steve, then David, then Gary. Steve.
Just one question. I think this is one of the first Habitat projects in the city that will have garages.
New ones? I believe
And
so.
attached garages.
Hey,
Yeah.
good point.
Some of our other projects, just for your information, that where the city has sold the lots to Habitat or donated them, we have required garages. So that's been a requirement that we've been looking at.
This is something we've wanted for a long time, is the issue of garages.
For sure.
Good.
David.
Two questions. One, because it's a shared driveway, is there a requirement for an agreement, or, cross easement may not be the correct term, but that concept, how is that?
They'll have to do a condominium agreement.
In a
That's
kind of, okay. And then secondly, because it was on the old power plant, are there any environmental issues on the property, or has that already been?
there's a closed left site where leaking underground storage tank for petroleum over where the boiler building was, not on this site. So it's towards the middle of the site. It's closed. So there was we had ACOM look at all those, look at those things for us. This particular site, there's no worries.
Thank you.
Gary, and then back to Ed again.
Yeah, I guess maybe three questions. First question is, how can the city determine whether or not the 40% reduction of the suspended solids will be met? I guess that's Mr. Goldie's.
They will, as part of the site development, have to do the calculations and run it through a software modeling program that's been approved by the DNR to basically model the runoff from the parking area through that to determine that it's meeting the 40%.
Is that periodically rechecked, or is it just done once when the construction is made, or when the construction is done? Well, I guess I'm wondering if in 5 years, how can the city be confident that it's still 40% or more?
There is typically a O&M agreement that's required with that, where they have to do an operations and maintenance agreement that requires them to do some maintenance on those type of features. Depending on what they are, if it's a detention basin, it can include dredging. If it's a biofilter, it may just include, at some point in time, having to replace the open media underneath that does a lot of the filtering.
Okay, thank you. The second question I have, I'm a little bit uncertain on the area that's going to be the proposed disposal. David Buck, could you show me where that is on the screen?
The disposition?
Yes.
Sure.
The disposition's in the line.
The disposition is what's in blue. So if you go back one more, Steve. So this is the whole block. The city
Okay.
would be disposing of this south corner, or south portion, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it'd be, I
That
guess
doesn't
it's
really
the
look like
northeast
blue to
corner.
me, but anyhow. Yeah, so what's the difference between the purple and the brown?
Well, this is the land use map. The purple shows that this is a mixed use development. The hatched mark shows that it's vacant property, and the yellow is that it's single family. So we got a lot of stuff going on this map, but the area that's being disposed of or being requested to be disposed of is just this corner. You'll probably see more dispositions coming for the rest of it at a later date.
Okay. It's my understanding that there's going to be two driveway exits, one on Parkway and one on Grove?
Two more slides down, Steve, thank you. Nope, there's only one driveway access,
Oh, on
entrance and
Parkway.
exit on Parkway.
Okay. I guess that's, I guess just a very general question, comment. I think this development is probably a pretty good development for the location. I am a little bit concerned about the amount of impervious surface, but I think that's just the way it is in regards to the specific site.
All right, thank you. Back to Ed.
Withdrawn in the interest of expediency.
All right, any other technical questions? Seeing none, anyone here from the audience to speak to this item today? Ben?
Good afternoon, Ben Kremenauer from 650 Grove Street here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I just want to say on behalf of Menominee South Neighborhood Association, we're really excited for this project. We're not only commit to helping with the construction process and being a part of it throughout, but we're hoping to hold some potlucks and other things for the new homeowners and other things to welcome to our neighborhood. Thank you for the opportunity for this project, and we're really excited to have it in our neighborhood.
Thank you, it's good to hear. Anyone else here to speak to this item today? Seeing none, back to the commission.
Approval?
Moved by Donna to approve the whole kit and caboodle, as my mother would have said?
Yes.
All right,
I'll second.
second, any discussion on any, yes, David?
With the modifications.
In the conditions?
In Plan B,
Yes.
Right.
or in Section B.
All right, any other comments, questions? Let's call the roll, Deb.
Owen,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Gray,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
Nolenberger,
Aye.
Borzak,
Aye.
Wojtek.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right, gentlemen, do you have anything else for us today?
No, we'll probably have a workshop next meeting.
Probably the next meeting, it's going to be on the administration, I believe, is our last section. We, just to kind of let you know, we probably will not bring the definition section through, if that's okay with you guys.
We give it to us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Give it to you for sure, but
No, give it
the definition.
The definition.
You're right, but probably not have a presentation on it. The workshop.
I think that's probably a good idea, because I'm not sure if I want to argue with Mr. Bowen here about
Everybody
some
wants.
kind of definition.
All right, good, thank you for sparing us all. David?
I'd like to thank Deb for sending out the link
Yes, that was nice.
and noting that the deterioration of our first-class mail service.
Would you like that to continue with future
The
mailing?
deterioration of the first class mail
No,
service?
Sorry,
sending out the link to you.
It would be
That actually
helpful
would be
even-
really, yeah.
All right.
Because it gives us a
Thank you
couple
very
more
much.
days. All right,
Pony
anything
Express
else
doesn't get
before we close this wonderful event? Here's our motion to,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Everybody have a good
All
Thanksgiving.
right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving,
Yes,
best
yes.
holiday.
Happy to